Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. We are here with the one and only. She really is the one and only Miss Sarah Fraser.
Hi, David Yontef. I know you're busy, you're globe trotting, jet setting, but here in Los Angeles, I just survived the hurricane, which was, I can't, I mean, you have an LA home, so a residency, which is, I'm sure, fine because really it was like Palm Springs that was like flooded out. But we're going through the whole hurricane, right? At first, it was just a hurricane, all this rain coming down, here in LA. We're sitting there, in the middle of this rainstorm, and all of a sudden the freaking building starts to shake. And it's like, what? We can't possibly be having what is the world ending? I know you're not that religious, but what are the Jews? I mean, what are they? No, Christ he didn't die and rise again, and he's not coming back. So I don't know. What is going on?
Politics and religion, I'll pass on. But I would like to say thank you to all of the listeners because so many people have reached out in my DMs to ask if I was okay with the hurricane, the earthquake. I was in the Hamptons. Now I'm in New York. I am coming to LA. All I was thinking is that, God, if I was flying, this coming Sunday, I'll be in LA. So, but I'm
You'll be
glad
fine.
that you're okay.
Pass.
I live in a tall building, so I would have,
Oh,
is that bad?
I don't know how you do it. Yes, I don't know how. I
Oh,
don't
God.
know how anybody. I mean, they build tall buildings here because everybody, our neighbors go, oh, and I mean, yesterday it was only where we were. I think it only registered as like a 2 point something or whatever. It was just this like tiny.
I live
shake
on
or
the
whatever.
15th floor, darling.
Honey, no, I don't know
Oh,
how the heck you
God.
live in a high rise in LA. No, you're never here though, so it's fine. But no, no.
I mean, I would like the building not to crash to the ground and have all my stuff fly out the window. But yeah, I mean, I see your point. I guess better that than me dying. Okay, well, thank you for making me scared.
Oh, anyway, we're fine. We're fine. We have had three since we've lived in LA almost a year and a half. We've been through three earthquakes already. Sweetie, what?
I've been through
This
one with
means
you.
what? Oh, that's right. You were here for the last one. You didn't even feel it though, did you?
No. Well, I'm coming back because we're going to
Oh,
be at Tom Sandoval in the Most Extras. I'm going to go to my second
oh,
show. Sarah,
yes.
I have twisted her arm, so we'll have they're going to be filming Vanderpump Rules. So
You got to make a dinner res too, out here in LA. Are we going? I think we should go to that new place that you sent me that's in a hotel. I'll make a
I've
reservation.
okay, don't make it for the same night. We have to be there early
Oh,
to
you keep
spend the
telling me
moment.
this.
But
Okay,
another
okay.
night, let's do it. Um,
Well, I have to eat. I don't know what you're talking about. We got to go somewhere before we go to this.
they have food there. Okay, well, you and I will work this out.
Eat their crappy food. This is like going, everybody's like, I went to SoFi Stadium for Taylor Swift, and everyone goes, oh, the food, the food. It isn't that great. It's like the presentation is better than your average, football stadium, but the food is still crap, you know, processed. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, everybody that was working there serving the food was doing a terrific job. I mean, they were burnt out from Taylor Swift, but it wasn't like it was this amazing cuisine.
Darling, when you're on the Manjaro, you eat that soft pretzel, you put mustard on top, and there is your dinner, and then you drink. Okay. But we'll work this out.
Okay.
We have to talk. I did it on my Patreon. I broke my silence on my Patreon with Miss Rachel. You could tell about this, but we need to cover. I mean, it's a week or two later, but we need to cover Bethenny and Raquel. It's still having its rippling effects, and you and I have not talked about this yet.
I mean, where do you want to begin? Do you want to give me all your I listened to the three parts. I was dreading it. I was dreading you guys. I did this for you, for our wonderful fans, because you guys are so good to us and so kind to us most of the time. Do you want to begin? I mean, I have a ton of thoughts. Who wants to go first? I mean,
I'd love to know it's like, you know what it is? It's such a big, and by the way, like when you announced what happened to you with your pregnancy and all the comments on YouTube and miscarriage, and you said that like you love our listeners, look at how sweet they are. They very sweet comments. I agree. And I'm like, Sarah, darling, I'm glad you think that. They're going to turn on me in 30 seconds for something. So they are very sweet, but they turn, girl, they turn. So
I know they do.
but I love them, and they did come to your support when you needed it. You know what it is? This animal is so big. That's why I want you to go first. It's like the elephant is not in the room. The elephant has come into the room. It has sat on everyone. It has it left destruction. I don't even know where to begin. I can't get my arms around all of this. So where
I
would
can
you
sum
like
it
to
up in
begin?
60 seconds and then you can go.
Okay.
I was dreading listening to this interview because I have listened to Rewives and it is torturous. I listen to it because it always comes back to Bethenny, and Bethenny just tells stories about Bethenny over and over, regardless of how interesting her guest is. Okay. I start this 3-part series with Rachel. I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, okay, it really wasn't that much about Bethenny. She was really letting Rachel speak. I was like, this is pretty good. And then I thought to myself, actually, this is I had the judgment that Rachel should not have gone to Bethenny for her big tell-all interview. Then I was halfway through. I was like, this is the perfect person. Much like Tom Sandoval had Howie Mandel on his side when he told his story, Bethenny completely empathized with her, cried, "You could be my daughter," the abuse of reality television. I thought nobody was going to be as sympathetic and, didn't push her on any details. I mean, I actually listened to the interview and forgot that she was part of the cheating issue. It was completely like she was the victim. And how dare we, question her mental health and how she was abused. Then I thought to myself, oh, I want to reach out to Rachel and be her manager. Who let her give away the story, the money, honey, to Bethenny? You could have made a fortune. If I were her manager, I would have gone to Simon & Schuster. I would have dropped a book. I would have dropped a 13 or maybe just an ongoing podcast, which she said she was going to do in part 3. I mean, but the podcast wasn't even ready to go. The day part 3 dropped, you should have had Rachel's voice or whatever the fuck you're going to call it, Rachel's story podcast dropping. So you're making, and you're #1 on the charts. I feel so bad for this woman. We think these celebrities have great management. They are as clueless as anybody else. That. And then what was my final thought? My final thought was actually the victim in this whole podcast series was Andy Cohen. I want to know what happened between Andy and Bethenny, because I don't see how they could possibly still be friends, because there was some big digs, I thought, at Andy Cohen. He rehomed his dog, apparently, because the dog was nipping at his children.
I mean, that's true.
Was that out before this interview?
Yeah, when he gave Waka away. But, yes, she had to, throw that in there. Sure.
I mean, essentially setting up Andy, how could Andy sort of allow the abuse that happened to you at the Vanderpump reunion? Because he's a father. I mean, he's a father to a daughter. How could he allow you to be up there and called? And Bethenny reads all the words, that are Rachel was called whore, homewrecker, vile slut, die, fuck yourself with a cheese grater.
She reads them slow. She pauses. Then there's a big pause. Just keep going. I've got a lot to say now. You've woken me up here.
And everybody said, I thought Kyle from Summer House, he